Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 19th of September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the broad themes to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. Now, this week could be described a bit like a sports match, a game of two halves, or a week of two halves. The first half of this week has a very strong resemblance to the energies which played out last week. That angle between the Sun and Pluto, very much a transformative aspect, that reaches a peak on Monday and lasts through to midweek. Venus and Mars are still in a right angle, and that lasts through to midweek. And that's bringing a greater sense of tension, but also potential excitement into the romantic realm. And also because Uranus is angling with Venus this week too, there is an opportunity to liven things up a little bit around all sorts of relationships by being a bit more spontaneous and not just going through the same routines and patterns that we can all tend to settle down into. Now also, those two retreating planets of Mercury and Jupiter are in opposition through to the middle of this week, which can see some bubbly conversations. It can also see some intense disagreements. You know, Jupiter is the planet that governs the sign of Sagittarius, which is very much about knowledge, but in the sign of Aries it can be more direct. Now the more moderate energies of Mercury in Libra is asking us all to find a balance, but of course the retrograde can see some cross wires. But later in this week we have one of the biggest events of the whole year. On Friday we have the Cardinal Quadrant 3 as the Sun moves into the sign of Venus, and we have the autumnal equinox. This provides a backdrop for the next 13 weeks, but particularly for the following 4 weeks, relationships are going to be a big part of everyone's thinking. And on this particular event, the Sun and Mercury are absolutely conjunct, or cazimi. So I think important to really take the whole concept of relating seriously. And that doesn't, of course, mean just saying what we want or how we feel. It means being able to listen to other people, but crucially comprehend where they're coming from if they tend to have a different approach to ourselves. And then on Sunday, we have a new moon in the sign of Libra, which just brings even greater dynamism into our need to relate well. But this one's in an opposition with Jupiter. Interesting, Jupiter's still in that retrograde, and I think that this means that there can, if we're open to it, be some really positive exchanges. We see lots of people giving their opinions these days, but it's very important to also have conversations and discussions. And I think as this week goes on, despite any tensions that may be there, and of course Saturn and Uranus are still inching closer to their exact square, which within 1 minute occurs between the 2nd and 12th of October, a repeat of an energy that was so prevalent in 2021 and at the start of this year. There is a lot of tension around. So if we can find a way to embrace this Libran energy of trying to find points of agreement, or to celebrate the things that we share rather than highlighting all the time the things that are different between us, I think it does provide an enormous opportunity over the next few weeks. Hello Scorpio, and your week commencing the 19th of September forecast sees your two ruling planets of Mars and Pluto strongly active in the mix. Now Pluto, Monday, forges that exact trine with the Sun, which was emerging last week. It's going to go on for the next 2 or 3 days within 3 degrees, but this is the precise point of influence. Now for you, conversations, particularly with someone that you feel a real alignment with in terms of friendship, ideals, some kind of collective cause, there really can be a sense of connection at the heart of this week. Now, in terms of your traditional ruler, Mars, that's forging a nice semi-sextile to Uranus. Uranus in your sector of relating, still in that very abrasive right angle with Saturn in your sector of home, emotion, family. So could be limitations in that area. I think the link with Mars for you is in the part of your horoscope that's very deep and very passionate. And so if there is someone that's attracting you, that creates a sense of excitement, it could help with Uranus's way of cutting through and helping us to be more authentic. It could help you and them to get to a position of closeness that much quicker. But Uranus also forges a brilliant link to Venus. So if there is someone in your circle that you have a good connection with, whether it's in terms of friendship or shared interests or in terms of a more romantic vibe, things could develop quickly this week. But in an ongoing relationship, Mars's right angle to Venus could be a bit more challenging. Do you feel that your need to be a free spirit is being compromised a little bit by the other person's need for intimacy? Or is it you who is feeling a little bit of an inner conflict between what you need? Do you want to be close? Do you want to roam? That might be something that you're considering. And if there are some deep themes to think about in your situation, as the Sun moves on Friday into your 12th house, and we have the cardinal quadrant 3 and the autumnal equinox, the next 12 weeks could be a time when you do quite a lot of soul searching. Also, because Mercury is exactly conjunct the Sun on this particular event, this is triggering a very psychological way of thinking about your situation. Now, the new moon, which occurs on Sunday, is in Libra for you, house 12. But that's one of the most challenging new moons of the whole year. So for you, this could be about trying to understand some of the less obvious influences in your situation. Why do you have particular responses or patterns or triggers? Or are there issues to do with trust or past hurts? Or is there something to do with a person's sincerity in terms of who's around you at the moment? So lots of good stuff around your situation. But as the week draws to a close, there may be a need just to shut down a little bit and just become a bit more protective and a bit more focused on your own emotional, spiritual realm.